Welcome in, everyone. Happy Thursday. Thanks for being with us today. My name is Kathleen Kuo, and I am a program manager with Nevada Humanities, our state's council partner for the National Endowment for the Humanities. With Humanities at Play, our goal is to pair gameplay and other interactive activities with thoughtful discussions about the humanities and how they enrich our everyday lives. Today, we are continuing our introductions to State Humanities Council staff around our nation, and I'm very excited to be joined by Dawn Smallman from Oregon Humanities. Dawn, how are you doing tonight?
Great. Thank you so much for the invitation to join you. I love this show.
I'm so glad. It's really great when you have someone who's been sort of a longtime supporter, who you've experienced it from the chat side, and now you get to be on the video side. So we're all excited that you're here. So for those of you just meeting Dawn for the first time, she is a program manager at Oregon Humanities, where she manages Oregon Humanities Grants Program, supports the Community Storytelling Fellowship Program, and assists in facilitating internal equity projects. She joined Oregon Humanities in 2021, and before then, she worked as a documentary filmmaker, crafting films and multimedia about culture and nature for exhibits in public land visitor centers and museums. She was the founding director of the Portland Eco Film Festival, and she worked as a community engagement manager and administrator for nonprofit fiscal management programs. Dawn enjoys spending her free time growing food for her family and community. I'm really excited to ask you about all of those things during our stream today. I'd love to learn more about, I guess I've never met someone who actually makes those films that you see in visitor centers and museums. So it's super exciting. So we can talk about sort of behind the scenes, like how that works. And of course, gardening and growing food, which is sort of the impetus for the game that we're playing tonight. So we are going to spend the first half of our stream playing through this cozy puzzle gardening game called Botany Manor. It was developed by Balloon Studios and published by Whitethorn Games on April 9th of this year. So it's pretty new. It's been out for about three and a half months. So testing out this new game. I was really excited, and I emailed Dawn this too when I saw it, but Botany Manor was on a list of the best games of 2024 so far, picked by NPR staff. This is an article I think came out like a week or two ago. And so in this game, it's set in 1890, and we're playing as Arabella Green, who is a retired botanist who inherited a manor in Somerset. And we're working on finishing a book about plants. And along the way, we solve puzzles. There's a lot of point and click, a lot of reading, and very, very cozy. I thought it was really neat when I was reading more about this game, and the developer said that the design of the manor in the game, it was inspired by Down House, which is the real house of Charles Darwin, and also inspired by the fictitious manor of Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider series. I have to admit, I don't think I've ever played a single Tomb Raider game or seen any of the movies, so I don't know what her manor looks like. But if anyone's seen or played and has seen her house, and you see any resemblance between the house and the game that we're about to play, let us know in chat. So after about an hour or so, we'll take a short break, then come back for our Q&A and conversation with Dawn. And I hope everyone comes ready with your questions during this time. Dawn, do you have any thoughts or any questions before we get ready tonight?
The first video game I got hooked on was Tomb Raider.
Really?
And my husband brought it home, and I was like, this is back when I was like a film freelancer, film production freelance person, and it was winter in Chicago, and I was like, oh, I'm not interested in video games. And then I was like, still there at like noon in my pajamas playing it, totally hooked on it.
Oh my goodness!
Days later.
So you've played Tomb Raider. That's so exciting. Well, okay, so you can let me know if the house bears any resemblance. So I'm gonna get this game started. And again, everyone, if you have any questions or comments, don't feel shy about putting in the chat. We love to interact with all of you. So I'm gonna pull up the game. Okay, while I pull the game up, Dawn, I hear you have some flowers of your own behind us.
Yeah, because we were talking botany, and my roses are going crazy. I had to bring some of my roses from my front yard, and they are named after Ingrid Bergman. And I remember when I was thinking, when we came to look at the house, we were thinking about buying the house, and we were both film people, and I was like, oh, the roses are beautiful, and they're named after like a film actress. Like, of course we have to buy this house. So they're crazy. They grow higher than the roof of our house.
That's amazing.
They almost look like fake roses. They're so beautiful every year. Yeah.
I also have a story about roses. when I was in middle school, one day my dad just started digging a huge circle in the middle of our yard. And it ended up that he made a rose garden for my mom. It was like, I don't know, like 12 by 12 feet, like a huge circle. I remember going to the store and picking out roses, and it was just all roses of all different colors and shapes, the most beautiful smells, like really, really romantic. So
that's really cool. I'm here in Portland, in particular, Oregon, and Portland has an amazing rose garden that's up on a cliff of a mountain. You can see volcanoes from it, and it's just giant. There's actually 2 amazing rose gardens here, but for folks visiting Portland, if you've never been to the Washington Park Rose Garden and you're into any kind of flowers, it's a pretty stunning place.
I'm gonna put on my list. I've been to Portland once. It was for like on my way to a friend's wedding, and I would love to go back again. So I'm gonna write down all the recommendations you shared tonight. So we have found a letter from a groundskeeper. I'll read it out loud. It says, Lady Arabella, we're so happy to have you back at Botany Manor. I hope you had a lovely trip. In your absence, I'm afraid some things in the manor have deteriorated, though I can assure you we tried our best to keep things in order. I hope it doesn't affect your research too much today. Bennett. Uh-oh. All right. And then we have this parcel. Oh, I love the animation of opening it. That's really nice.
Yeah, it's really beautiful.
Forgotten flora, an herbarium. Or I guess if this is like British English, maybe like a herbarium. So let's open it up. Thank you once again for submitting your book proposal, Forgotten Flora. Please send this empty herbarium back to us once you have completed your research, and we'll be in touch with a potential offer. Sincerely, Mayflower Publishing House. This is a little bit too real. We're like trying to get a book published. Right, herbarium.
It works with the humanities thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, any aspiring gardening authors, this is your game. Okay, so this is kind of, I think, our like journal for this game. So we'll learn more about the maps later and our quests. Okay, I'm gonna exit out. All right. Welcome in, everyone. It's great to see folks here in the chat. Ooh, this is a humid room. A little bit like
That's great.
It says one new plant was added. Let's see. Okay, so this is a new plant. This is the first puzzle we have to solve. So we have to grow a windmill wort to filter the smoggy air in my conservatory, but I'll need to research its temperature requirements first. So we have to find some clues and then grow the plant. Okay, I'm gonna collect some seeds.
Seeds are where it's at. Seeds are magical things.
Do you have both annuals and perennials in your garden?
Oh yeah.
I sound like an expert. I'm not an expert.
I'm a seed hoarder.
Okay.
I always like save way more seeds that I actually could use or give away or any of all of that. It's kind of pathological hoarding.
Yeah, it could be worse. It could be like yarn. I'm sure seeds take up way less space than yarn, which I have too much of. So,
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Silver says, this seems like the perfect game to have a cozy cup or cocoa or tea with. Yes, like I actually don't have tea, but if I did, this would be absolutely the perfect game. Containerport says, watching tonight's stream here in my living room next to a plant that I'm hoping I didn't kill. Well, tell Dawn what your plant is. Maybe she can give some gardening doctor advice. So to grow our plants, we have to place a pot in a saucer, add soil, plant a seed, water the seed.
Let's see.
And there's nothing on the back. All right. So we have the seed. Here's our pot. Okay. So scoop it. And then, how do I add seeds? Oh, here we go. Plant the seed.
Maybe in the drawer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I love how it just popped out.
Yeah.
Water the seed.
That's a big seed.
It is. Wow. Yeah. See, instant growth. Does not happen in real life, I'm sure.
Yeah, if only, right?
Yes. So we still have to find the clues. So I'll do a little bit of exploring. It looks like this controls. I don't know my Celsius actually, so I'm actually not sure how hot 20 Celsius is. Let us know in the chat. Oh, okay. So we can control the temperature there.
Yeah, that's cool.
Love all the cacti. I was gonna say this looks like a rose, but is that like a typical rose bush? I'm not sure what kind of plant that is. It's next to cacti.
I don't know. I think it's kind of a mystery plant.
Yeah. Somerset falls victim to industrial smog. I can barely see. Horse bus drivers refuse to work in these conditions. You know, I don't blame them.
So what you thought was humidity might be industrial smog, it seems.
Yeah, it's scary that it's in our house.
Yeah, we have lots of fires here right now, so.
Yep. Nevada gets them too.
Yeah.
Postcard from Marianne. Oh, it's nice that for accessibility you can, we'll put it here if you need to read it. I'll read it from this. Great. Dear Sarabella, on my hike, I came across the windmill wort, a flower that only grows in Sicily. Some locals told me the flower has air purifying qualities, but due to its bespoke temperature requirements, the plant rarely blooms. Maybe the flower could help with the smog pollution in your conservatory? Your friend and peer, Marianne. You know, I wish my friends sent me plants. Okay, so clues. We can assign them to plants. I think we just got a postcard clue, so I'll put it there. All right, and then got some stuff on this board. Ideal soil.
20 degrees Celsius is 68 Fahrenheit.
Okay, that's actually about how hot my house is at the moment, or cold. Maybe it's cold, not hot. All right, so Sicily, they said. So we don't know what kind of flower this is.
Well, if it's a wort, I'm guessing it's a woodland flower. Try 25 Celsius.
Okay. And then here's one more, actually. Oh. Okay, so this is...
there you go.
I agree with you. It probably would be a woodland flower, but it looks like for this game it's a volcanic flower.
Volcanic flower.
I haven't heard of... I know daffodils are real flowers, but I haven't heard of the other ones, actually.
Well, there's lots of different worts. I haven't heard of a windmill wort, so I don't know if it exists.
Or it's just
but checkered lily is a real thing, and so is sword lily, and daffodil. So I would guess it is.
All right, so woodland flowers. Let's go back and see. It needs to be, volcanic flower.
Okay.
60? Yeah?
60, yeah.
60. All right. Add these clues. Nice. I love this pond in the middle. I would like to own a manor in Somerset. Wouldn't you? You could have a room for all of your plants. Okay, so 60. That's really hot. How hot is 60 degrees Celsius? If 20 is 68 Fahrenheit, how hot is 60?
Well, it grows on a volcano, so it's got to be able to survive a lot of heat, I guess.
Yeah. It's be really hot.
I wonder if it's called a windmill wort, not just because of how it looks, but because volcanoes probably are windy spots too.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Silver says it's 140 degrees. We're about to run out of this room before it gets too hot.
Oh, look, it cleared up.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is beautiful too.
Great.
I love the color.
Yeah,
Okay. The windmill wort naturally grows in volcanic soil, which is why it requires a soil temperature of 60 degrees Celsius or 140 degrees Fahrenheit. The bud contains air purifying qualities, so the flower can filter its environment from dense smog.
Way cool.
Yeah. Wow, this is, now that we can see, I didn't realize that this tree was like blue and purple. That's really pretty.
I think that's a wisteria. Have you ever heard of wisteria?
I've seen them. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it looks like.
Okay, so we came from this room. So let's exit. Let's see what awaits us.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
It's a really nice building. I'm gonna turn around and see. Oh, I like that they have mushrooms growing on the tree. That's a nice touch. I don't know my mushrooms. Do you know your mushrooms?
some, those are some kind of shelf. Maybe they're a turkey tail. I don't know.
Container Port says there are Chinese wisterias in the Truckee Meadows here in northern Nevada. Oh, good to know.
Interesting. We had a wisteria that I had in a pot next to our front door and of our garage, and it literally crawled up our house and like busted through the outside of the house and started to like lift the roof off the garage.
Oh my
They're
gosh.
like kind of known for that. Yeah, they're really strong plants.
I feel very much like I'm walking through a botanic garden right now, which is one of my favorite places to be. So this is really nice. Silver says maybe chicken of the woods mushrooms. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
the shape looks right.
Yeah, it's orange.
I don't know what grows in Somerset, but could be. Like this little peephole. Oh man, if I don't know my bird calls, I would love to know what bird that is. The graphics are really fun. It's a little like it's not super detailed. That's totally fine. I like how they suggest plants without having to go into great detail.
Yeah. I like the color scheme.
Yeah. Botany Manor, home of the Green family. That's us. The door that we can't open. Ooh.
Ah, nice.
I'm currently busy researching. Please leave all deliveries in the gatehouse and ring the bell. Nice. Key. Oh, okay, we have a key for the entrance to the garden. Oh, let's see if we can. It's probably the other way. So do you grow vegetables in addition to plants? Or sorry, in addition to flowers?
Vegetable gardening is the main thing that I'm interested in. Yeah, most of my life. But it's sort of like the pretty flowers are kind of the the gateway drug to everything, I think. So like gardens, beautiful English flower gardens were the first thing I was interested in. But then I just got really interested in growing food. And that's where my interest has mostly stayed. And I don't really have houseplants or anything like that, but I really like to grow food and to cook, what I grow. And I like giving food away and being part of community gardens and stuff like that.
You have a walking stick, very British.
Yep. Next to the tea.
My dear friend, good luck on your trip. I would have loved to join you like in our younger days, but your tales about the trip will suffice when we next meet. I will never forget the Maria Jackson passage you once highlighted to me. In examining plates, you take the authority of others, whereas in botany, as in all other things, we can make little progress if we do not see for ourselves. Well, now you must travel and see some interesting specimens for yourself. I am inspired and look forward to hearing all about it. Your friend always, Eleanor. Oh, okay, I have to think about this quote. In examining plates, you take the authority of others. I don't know what it means to examine plates. Like, is it like plates like dishware or plates like specimen plates? I'm curious.
I would think it's specimen plates. You take the authority of others. You take the authority of what the plant tells you, maybe? I don't know. That's interesting.
And then in botany,
whereas in botany, so they're not talking plants. We can make little progress if we do not see for ourselves. And I don't know. That's a
interesting quote. Maybe if we don't do the work ourselves, like if we don't see it, like, and then like do all the digging and all the hard work ourselves. I don't know. Good quote. Good to ponder.
It's a mystery quote.
It is.
Yet to be revealed.
I like that the game lets you just sit down and you can take your time. It's actually really, really nice. Oh, this is really cute. little ducky.
Yeah. I can't help but think of Edward Scissorhands whenever I see garden topiary.
That movie was so scary when I was younger. Like I could not watch it. Yeah. I think it was the makeup. It wasn't the Scissorhands. It was the way he appeared. The gardening has quite a landscaping budget, says the container report. Well, you see, this is our house. We must be very well to do. Okay, so we have more that we can plant, but we need to find some seeds first, it seems like. What's in here? Another chair to sit in. Another.
Are they back in that set of drawers?
Yeah, I'll try to see if I can check. I like all the letters we're getting. My dearest Arabella, I hope this letter finds you well as you set off for London on your important trip. The thought of you in a bustling city, working on your ambitions, both excites and worries me. Time has indeed passed, and yet your determination for your field remains inspiring to me. I never imagined all those years ago that we'd be writing to each other in our 5th decade about such endeavors. I look forward to hearing about your progress, and of course, let me know how I can be of assistance upon your return. Your loving sister, Elizabeth. Okay, well, I like that this is sort of a slow introduction to our characters, so now we know we're in our 50s. And we like to write letters. Okay, so I'm not able to open a drawer. There's no... So the white dot, that's how I know if I can do something with it. But there's no white dot here, which is unfortunate. So we'll keep going. I'm sure like there are other games where, you know, if we could interact with everything, I'm sure people would pick up the pots and throw them to see what was inside.
Just to see if they'll shatter.
Yep. Okay, chapter 2. Okay, it says 2 new plants were added. Okay, so the first one we have to plant in this chapter is a Fulgoria. I came across this plant when I was caught in a terrible thunderstorm. I'm interested to learn more about its growth requirements. Seed packet location. Oh, okay, that's nice that it tells us where to find a seed packet. It is very strange that this is our book. It's like, why do we leave clues to ourselves? You know? why are we doing this to ourselves?
Maybe there's like amnesia involved.
Yeah,
or
that's
a
what
fear
I thought.
Of,
yeah,
dementia or
ash plume. This might...
although like garden journals are like a classic thing for gardeners.
Yes.
So.
But this one, yeah, it's interesting. Okay, so this might be a tough case to crack. We have to go to the rose garden for this one. Okay, so rose garden and a grand staircase. Well, I'm excited to see the rose garden because we were just talking about your beautiful roses, so that's very exciting.
So your dad sounds like a romantic. Did your mom like the rose garden that he planted for
He
her?
did, or she did. Yeah, we would often cut, like just, every summer we'd bring some roses inside, and I loved just smelling them as I was younger. So absolutely. Oh, look at our family tree. This is fun. Okay, there's our sister, 1835. So our sister is 3 years older than us. And we are not married. Lady Arabella Green, I'm pleased to let you know that your family tree is complete, carefully tracing the history of your lineage. As per your request, I have altered the customary presentation, now displaying the maiden names of the ladies in your family, rather than their current names acquired through marriage. Should you require any further adjustments or have additional inquiries, I remain at your service. Yours, Robert Hinchley, genealogist. Oh, that's so nice.
That's pretty
I
cool.
feel like she's like pretty progressive for the late 1800s. It's pretty cool. Okay, I'm gonna look at this again. So she asked that all the women on this tree retain their maiden names. It's nice. Ursula Pengilly is a great name. The very top.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Sometimes when I watch TV shows and there's like a bunch of text, I'll like pause the TV show if it's like on demand, like on a streaming service, so I can read all the stuff in the background. I don't know if you watched the Good Place. It's really it's a funny show, but there's a scene where they were examining all of the bad things that you could do that would give you like negative points and send you to the bad place, which is like hell basically. And there are some pretty funny things listed on that. whiteboard.
So you were pausing a lot.
Yeah. Okay, so we have, I can't go any further because the tree's in the way, but it looks like, I like all the prints and a fish.
That's Amanita muscaria, that mushroom I know.
Oh, the red?
That's kind of the class.
Yeah.
The red with the white flecks. That's the mushroom that a lot of people say the flying reindeers that are with Santa Claus are because reindeers would eat that and then basically get altered states from eating Amanita muscaria.
I've never heard that before. That's so interesting.
Yeah. See, I told you I could plant geek out.
Love it. Perfect. Container port, are you sure you don't want to share your gardening question with her? So, travel by train to Dartmoor all the year round, home to breathtaking sights. Hound Tour, Wistman's Wood, Becky Falls. All right. That's it for this room. What's in the kitchen? Oh, we need a key. Okay. See, why don't we have the keys to our own house, right? That's another question. We have been locked out. We're hunting for clues.
Maybe we locked ourselves in.
Right?
Oh, look at that.
Pyrophiles, curiosities of the natural world. Fire has the potential to be among the most devastating forces of nature. Despite this, humans have developed the ability to invent, wield, and attempt to manage it. Meanwhile, certain species in the plant kingdom have evolved to adapt and flourish in the face of fire. Okay, this is really cool because I planned an event for work a couple weeks ago, I think in early June, where we worked with Living with Fire, which is their extension program at the University of Nevada, Reno. And they led this walk, which maybe someone in our chat can talk more of if he's able to, but about just, the challenges of living with wildfire in northern Nevada. And I think this is really nice connection.
Mm-hmm.
In areas where, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Oh, I was just gonna say, it's really interesting to live in places where there's fire coming in more, and obviously it's got a lot of negative things about it too. But when you hear biologists talk about how forest is needed how fire is needed for the forest, it can also help. At least learning about that stuff helped me temper my own feelings about fire, for sure.
In areas where forest fires occur frequently, pyrophiles have learned to rely on fire as a crucial part of their life cycle. Facts. Number 1, their seeds typically possess tough shells. Some pyrophiles only bloom when surrounded by smoke aromas from their natural habitat. Okay, and I can't go anymore, so this is it. Okay.
That's so interesting. I did not know that.
Very sweet hedgehog print. Okay, back terrace, also locked. All right. Is this from locked? Okay, so we're gonna look for some keys. So that's it for this area. I like that this tree is all the way inside. That's really cool. Is this a real tree?
Mm-hmm.
What is it?
I think it's a specimen, right? Dead tree, yeah.
Oh, it's a dead tree. Okay, I was gonna say, what is it growing in? Because I didn't see anything. But that's really neat if it's a dead tree. Also really dangerous to have it right by the fire. It's like, look how close it is.
If you're ever in Chicago and you like architecture, go to the Frank Lloyd Wright home.
Okay.
He has a tree that grows right through the middle of his house.
Oh, very cool. I'll have to check it out for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, July 9th, 1890, Great Western Railway, Taunton to London Paddington. Elderly discount. Are they saying I'm elderly? Is this for someone else? Oh no. And then, okay, nothing on the back. We have a train ticket. I wonder what the train ticket's for.
We got to get out of the house first.
Yeah, right? Yeah, let us out first. Oh, these are my parents. That's really cool. Like the silhouettes. Oh, we found some seeds. This is the one by the grand staircase. That's a really pretty seed. It's kind of like dark bluey black. Really cool. Blurry photograph. Okay. Helpful. A dark photograph. Well, I feel like this is probably in the very early stages of photography, so, you know, I forgive them.
It's like an old photo tintype or something.
Yes. In chat, Silver says, I had no idea there were plants that are pyrophiles. Nature continues to surprise and amaze. Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
super cool. This is a plant stream now. We should have, if we had more time, I would have asked you, we could do this outside, we could garden together, but it's a little bit hard to do on stream. I like looking at all you can tell that she loves art and prints. It's really nice to see.
The lighting's really beautiful inside and out. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of that sort of like late afternoon, maybe late morning kind of feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, we can open this door. Oh, so this is upstairs from where we were before. So here's that tree. It's a good thing we can't jump in this game. I can't accidentally fall off. Blocked by okay.
Why would there be a key up here, though?
Right.
Maybe they want to hide it from us, but it's...
Can I not, like, move the tree with my with my hands? Groundskeeper's not doing a very good job if they're letting this dead tree just lock the doors.
Lock the door.
Okay, so we'll remember this another dead end. Such a funny house. There's look at this. There's a letting block.
Yeah.
It's like we're
we start guessing.
Yeah. We've like trapped ourselves in our own house.
Maybe it's key, Key.
Okay. I'm gonna laugh at it. Oh wait, that one goes up to I. Okay, so can't. I'll just do.
Come on, people in the chat, tell us what it is. Tell us what it is.
All right, so let's go back downstairs. Okay, so that's a bust for upstairs. Oh, this is a beautiful vase. It's a big vase. Really nice.
No dot on it. I was thinking maybe there's something hidden in there.
So let's see, what clues?
Well, there were dots on all those seed drawers.
There were.
I think there's a... Why would they put keys there, though? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, let's see. So, okay, so this is the other key that we just picked up. So we know from this clue. I guess it won't let us look at it now. But so this plant we know is a pyrophile. Let's look at the other one again. Oh, these aren't the right clues. Okay, so I thought it would automatically just do the right clue. So I'm gonna reset this because I actually don't know if that's right. This is tough. Where's the rose garden? Maybe our map can help us out. Okay, maps. So we are in the house. We want to find 7. So let's see if we can go all the way to the back and to the right. That's where the rose garden is. But I think this door was locked, right? Wasn't the kitchen locked?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe pick up something and break the window.
Right? This is our house. It's fine if we break it.
Throw a pot through it.
I'm gonna do it again. So can we go to the rose garden? Yeah, it's locked. No.
That's so crazy.
And did I miss any? I think I went everywhere I could.
There was a dot you just passed.
This one?
On the wall.
Oh,
they wouldn't hang a key within a piece of artwork, though, would they? There you go.
I think the dot is for behind. See, it's kind of moving, so let's see where this goes.
Oh, yeah.
Did we go through this door? I don't think we did. Okay, here's a new door.
Right on. Look at that.
Oh my goodness. Oh boy. Okay, sulfur, potassium, magnesium, phosphorus, sodium, titanium, zinc, and barium. And this beaker. Flask. Well, let's be able to do something with this later. Oh, here's the mushroom that you're talking about.
Yeah.
The art of painting in oil and fresco.
Oh, I'm just seeing that somebody was suggesting ba as the combination for the lock.
Yeah.
Sorry, we missed that punchline at that moment. That's a good one.
Oh, the next door. Oh, it's a beautiful room. I'm just being nosy. I'm looking at everything first. Are there any white dots? There's a bunch in a chair. About me to sit in a chair right now. Here's something. Folklore book. Oh, this is perfect. Perfect for a humanities stream. Some ancient Celtic tribes practiced a coming-of-age ritual. This meant that when someone was considered old enough, it was time to prove themselves worthy of staying in the tribe. One of these rituals involved picking up a flower in the woods, though not just any flower, of course. The gatherer had to find a fulguria, for this flower is known to only bloom during thunderstorms. Keeping a cool head while lightning flashes were striking left and right of you was considered the ultimate test of courage. And that's it. Okay. So, only blooms during thunderstorms. Do you think that this would mean that it's a pyrophile? Like maybe it gets struck by lightning and that's how it blooms? I'll put this.
Interesting.
Let's put
I've never heard of anything like that.
Book. Okay, so we know for sure this is a clue because it mentioned it by name. I think I got everything that was in this room. Is there... Yeah. That's that. Wish we could play the piano. Very cute. Okay, this is us with our older sister. Oh, that's a harpsichord. Good.
Do you play?
Not a harpsichord, but yeah, a keyboard. I have one to my behind me.
Right behind you. Yeah.
Oh, key! We got a key. What key is this? Back
Yay.
terrace. Yay, we're no longer trapped.
Onto the rose garden.
Yes. Okay, let's see. This is Watson's flash powder. Oh, like maybe to like
What is?
for like photography, maybe? Bottle container.
Oh yeah, I bet you're right.
Highly combustible, potassium, magnesium, 2-to-1. Container port says good to make lightning. Yeah.
Yeah.
From Farmer Charles. These past weeks I've been seeing lots of bright flashes coming from the back room of your house. It scares my cows immensely as I think a storm must be coming. My milk production has taken a hit because of this. If you enjoy fresh milk in your morning cup of tea, I would advise you to keep the flashes to a minimum. Farmer Charles. He's
a cranky one.
He is. Yeah, some 1890s like Karen energy. Just let me speak to your manager. I am the manager. Okay, glass plate. Yeah, 1890s passive aggressive.
Yep.
Oh, we can take a picture.
That's great. Photography has entered the botany story. I love it.
Yeah.
In a big way.
I wonder if that's how we make this one bloom. If it does it
Put it in front of the flash.
Yeah. If it maybe this is the one that grows in lightning storms, and the other one's the fire one. Okay, I'll take a nice rest.
Maybe the other one we have to throw into the fireplace.
That's a good point. Yeah, I bet we do because maybe that's why they have so many different fires. Oh, okay. What's this? Spectacles. Very nice. And then your new Lumen photographic flash lamp. Instructions: fill the container with flash powder. That bottle is empty, but there was the flask with all the chemicals behind it. So I wonder if we're supposed to mix our own flash powder. Press the button connected to the camera in a Lumen flash lamp. Witness a bright flash. Okay. Let me add this as a clue. Flash powder bottle. Letter from farmer. And then, this is bad of me. I don't remember if either of these, maybe the photographs? You think she was trying to take pictures of this plant? Like the one that was like really dark and one was light? Let's see.
Yeah, probably.
Yay.
To get it to bloom, right?
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
I think we got it. So the rest of the clues, Dartmoor. So this is the pyrophile. Okay, so maybe we can grow this one. So let's. We have to go all the way back to the outdoors with the pot and see if we can fill it in. Okay, so this one.
Hopefully the door doesn't lock again behind us, right?
That'd be scary. There is running. This is the fastest we can go. So, okay, scoop, and then plant, it's water. This is really pretty. Let's see. Let's not throw this one in a fire. Is this the right way? Yes. Okay. Perfect. There's a pot right here. And then I'm just going to double check. Okay, so 2-to-1 potassium and magnesium. Okay. Highly combustible. I was really bad at chemistry in high school. I should not be doing this. Okay. Potassium, magnesium. Okay, so 1, 2. And then, do I like mix it? Or I don't want to dump it. I guess that's it. I'm surprised we didn't mix it. Okay, let's find out. So
it's got bubbles, so maybe it's mixing itself.
Oh, you're right. Okay, where do we put it? Oh, okay. I'll put it here. Can we look at the instructions one more time? Oops. Okay, so we filled it. Close a container. Press the button. Okay. Hey, we're doing it. Yay!
Wow!
If only
Look at it go.
that magic, right?
That's pretty great.
That's really pretty too, actually. The Fulguria only grows during thunderstorms where the flashes of lightning provide the bright light the flower needs to bloom. Because of its dangerous growing conditions, not many people have witnessed its beauty. Huh. Is this a real thing? Could someone look this up? Or is this just for the game?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm like kind of skeptical. It's really cool, but also like, is that real?
I want it to be real.
Yeah. I want there to be a thunderstorm flower too. Okay, here's our good flower. All right, so let's go on to the back terrace. See if we can find the rose garden. Do you have a favorite color of rose? All
really.
of them?
Yeah. Yeah. How about you? What was your favorite rose in your parents' rose garden?
I remember there was one that was kind of like this light, it was almost like peachy, like a peachy color. It just smelled so beautiful. I don't know what kind it was, other than it was like peachy and kind of like ombre on the edges, like pinkish and red on the edges. Locked from the other side. Okay.
High security at the manor.
Yeah. Well, we had to prevent Armor Charles from barging in. Okay, that's Flowering Plants of Great Britain by Anne Pratt. Okay, so we can't open it, but like it's on here. Okay, I think that's it for the terrace. Can we make our way down to the rose? Okay, yeah, there's the staircase.
There must be a team of gardeners here.
I hope so. Yeah. Oh, here's our next gardening station.
Oh, cool.
So let's go down. Oh, that's a really pretty view. I wish I could like jump so I could like look over these. bushes. Really pretty. Seed log. A summary of some seeds I've gathered this year and a location I found them at. This is like that gardening journal you were saying, you're talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
So cow parsley, poppy, buttercups, ash plume, wood anemone, wild thyme, foxglove. And I think ash plume is Wistman's wood. That's the next one that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I cannot turn any more pages. So this is... So seed logs. Oh, wow, we need 4 more clues. And to find... Here's our seed packet. I bet we can't get in through this door. Or can we? Let's find out. Oh. I didn't think there'd be this many keys.
Yeah.
My dear friend Arabella, a friend of mine visited the Americas and brought back a pair of fabulous gray squirrels. They are the latest trend in garden decoration. All of my neighbors have sent for them as well. It was a great investment. The 2 squirrels have now started a big family, and my garden is full of the darling little critters. One thing I did notice is that I haven't seen a red squirrel in my garden for some time now. How odd. You must visit soon and see the squirrels for yourself. Ever yours, Grace. Uh-oh.
That's what I was thinking, invasive species right at the beginning of the letter.
Also,
but I think that way just from running an environmental film festival for 8 years. Like,
right. I love how they're described as like a trend in garden decoration, as if they weren't like living, creatures.
Yeah.
I wonder if this is a clue or just kind of like some funny like flavor text for the.
Maybe we'll meet the squirrel family.
Oh, I would like
or
to.
Something.
Yeah.
That's great. I love all the forced perspectives. Mm-hmm. And just the way that it's designed. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, slowly. Man.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll also point this out. So what I really appreciate, so there's not just accessibility controls, but there's also motion sickness, which I haven't really seen before. So I actually decreased some of these earlier just so like it wouldn't turn so fast when we were playing. So I really appreciate that about this game. Like they really thought about like different considerations. I feel like people are starting to think more about accessibility and disability when creating games.
So what is the camera field of view? Did you play with that?
Yeah, so it zooms out.
Does that just give you more of a panorama?
Yeah, so let's see what happens if I go out all the way. Okay, field of view. This increasing may help. Did you see how like it zoomed out a bunch? So you could keep it like this. I kind of like, I think this is too like far away. So I want it to be a little bit more zoomed in. Like this seems like a little, I feel like I'm wearing the wrong pair of glasses.
Totally, yeah.
So I think we're at 70.
That's pretty cool though.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is 70, which I thought was nice. Oh, it looks like we're making lunch, dinner, question. We're just randomly left out like some carrots, potatoes, an onion. Oh, okay, maybe we have
tea.
Yeah, Hazel Patterson kitchen notes. Jimmy broke another mortar. That boy really needs to learn how to grind spices without breaking down my kitchen. Lady Arabella may not be best pleased with me asking for a new one. The last mortar took years to be sorted. She is so scatterbrained, always off on her fancy research trips. Oh no, the help they're writing about me. I don't know, I might have to talk to this Hazel Patterson. Well, I feel sad. They're talking about me behind my back. Another key. We got the kitchen key. That's nice. Okay, is there another clue? No, that's it. Okay, so we still need 4 more clues. She thinks I'm scatterbrained. Okay, so I think this is as far as we can go. We can't go in through this side. Like, why can I not just climb this ladder and jump over, you know?
Why have it there if you can't, right?
Right.
Yeah. Back up, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, because we can't, I think we can go in through this side. Yeah. I think the only way, I think we just have to go back to the kitchen now.
I want to live here.
Yeah.
The view is beautiful.
Would you take care of all the plants yourself?
I'm sure I would fail. I would try, but I would fail. I just recently have been trying to garden in a 5,000 square foot garden.
Wow.
A really big garden. And it, for the first time in many gardening years of my life, it kind of taught me like my limit of what I can pull off
Sure.
and where it's a runaway train.
I would love to have a garden when I move. Right now I don't have a backyard, I just have like a concrete patio. And so I would love to have, just be able to like dig in the dirt and grow plants.
Yeah, well, container gardening's great, but I agree with you. It's about the dirt in large part for me.
Oh, this is cute. I think. I know, it looks like it's
It's a mystery.
Yeah.
It's a stamp.
mysterious symbol. And then what are these? Oh, ounces. Okay. Okay, so maybe you have to fill it with something. Oh,
Counterbalances for the weight, right?
yeah. Angry Ostrich said, cute or horrific? Yeah, I know. The longer I was like, is this going through the animal? I don't know. It's both. Horrific cute. Okay, I think that's it for this section. Blessed is this kitchen, by grace and holy light. May all those who enter find comfort and respite. I'm just going to say it that way so it rhymes. Blessed is the hearth, with laughter and with cheer. May the love shared here be held forever dear. To those who serve the Lord, who seek their sanctuary, remember the year of construction, for this, friends, is the key gifted by Nicholas Owen. Remember the year of construction. I don't know, 18 something? Maybe this is like a puzzle, a key to something later. To those who serve, yeah. Well, I'm sure we'll get to that puzzle in a bit. Hazel's priceless recipes for the home, farm, workshop, and every department of human endeavor. What other departments are there? Roasted chestnuts?
Department's an odd word.
Yeah.
Ah, roasted chestnuts.
Love roasted chestnuts. This is a simple recipe, perfect to warm those cold winter nights. Like Silver said, if this were winter, we'd be drinking our tea or coffee or hot chocolate right now while we're playing the game. You can use any edible chestnuts. They're easily foraged. The main difficulty with chestnuts is that they have a tough shell, but luckily they're easy to crack open with the help of fire. Simply place the nuts in a pan above the fire and wait until you hear a pop. This means that your chestnuts are nicely roasted and ready to eat. So, clue? Yes. All right, 3 more clues. The history of Dartmoor, given by a resident natural history professor. The professor will present how the moor was once covered in majestic forests and woods, how early settlers came to the area and cleared most of the trees for pasture using fire as their method of choice. It promises to be a fascinating story of how the moorland we know and love today came into existence. Very academic. Okay, 2 more clues. We're getting there. Oh, here's the broken mortar. Sad. Kindling. Dear lady, we received your letter applying to study botany at our College of Natural Sciences along with your enclosed drawings. We do not at present and have never admitted women to study at the college. Boo. Botany is a serious science conducted in laboratories and lecture halls. By all means, continue to pursue your hobby, tending to your garden and domestic space where it may be appreciated. Positions at the college are reserved for serious scholars whose studies will go on to be well utilized in a career in botanical experimentation. Therefore, with all politeness, we do not offer these valuable positions to amateurs that should otherwise be taken up by genuine academics. Signed, Professor John Altringham.
Can we put that in the fire?
Right? I like your thinking. Oh, that's so rude. When he says in the last paragraph, like, to amateurs, I mean, he just means women, right? Like, probably.
Right. Oh, totally. Yeah.
Boo.
Why would you keep that letter?
Oh, it isn't. It isn't a
Oh,
Kindling.
it's a Kindling. It is. Oh, that's right.
That's really funny.
That's great.
Perfect. Oh, I love our main character. I like her.
That's great.
Okay, so this door, what's in here? To someone special. Dearest Hazel, I picked you some roses from the garden to cheer you up. When you're done with your work in a good kitchen, would you like to meet me for a cup of tea in the back garden? The pond is lovely this time of year. Warm regards, Mr. Bennett. Oh. Wait, that's not to us, it's to Hazel. I was like, oh, it's Okay. Wait, Mr. Bennett, he's a groundskeeper, right? Is that Bennett?
I don't remember.
Okay.
You have better memory than I do.
Okay. Well, I forgot that this was to Hazel, not to us. I thought, oh, someone's cheering us up. Those are my roses you're picking. Anyone can use them. The ancient oaks stand tall in Wistman's Wood. Covered in moss, they withstood the test of time, though none can tell the sorrows that did befell those trees in Wistman's Wood. Oh, sweet duck. I just got a STEAM achievement called Quack Quack, Inspect a Duck. Nice. So we have a poem. Okay, we just need one more clue. We'll find it up here. I like these are very English, like kind of like the hunter boots, like wellies.
Wellies, yeah.
Is this the rose garden?
Opens.
Home smoking and curing, Handbook of Household Food Preservation. This also speaks to all the things you're interested in. Using the home smokery, the type of wood to use is of great importance, though which one to pick depends entirely on your personal tastes and preferences. Burning wood from different types of tree produces different smoke aromas. This is due to different chemical compositions in each type of smoke, and it has a great impact on the flavor of your smoked food. So in summary, choose your wood logs with care. Okay. Are we going to be smoking something? Great. Again. Smoked food. Oh wow! You can see like the ripples. That's really neat.
Cool. But where's the smoke?
Yeah.
You have to put some water on it, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I guess I'll leave the door open just in case. All right. Let's go back up. I think that's it for this section. Was that a clue? Okay, so it was our last clue. Okay, so let's go back. Oh gosh. Oh, we have to. Oh no. I think.
We have to pick what we want to put on the fire for the smoke.
We have a section of clues. I don't think we. Well, we have to go back to the original one. I think it said it was oak, right? Like it's oak forests. Yeah,
oak forest, yep.
Let's do that. So let's bring our oak with us and run all the way back to... Gosh, I don't know. Did we put it here?
No, I think you put it out in the...
Oh, wait. Well, there's a...
In the smokehouse, right?
Well, here's a place I could put it in here, actually.
I guess if you're just cooking with it for fuel, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to go find seed. I'm trying to remember, where was it? Was it in here? No. Oh, I still don't know what these weights are for, but maybe that's not important yet. Okay.
Maybe if we have to weigh a seed.
Yeah, let's... Where is this where the pots were? Am I going the wrong way? Yeah, I think it was down here. Here we go. Maze. So now...
It's a good thing you're driving, not me.
Did I do this right?
I think so, yeah.
Let's go. Oh, that's right, we can't go in that way. I just don't know where to put the pot. Oh, maybe put it here?
Would seem weird, but yeah, maybe.
It is growing.
There you go.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that technique.
Right? Well, maybe you're right. Maybe we do have to go back to the smoke ring. Like, do you think it needs... Like, do you think we put this in that hole in the ground? Like, for the smoke?
No, I think you put the wood in the hole in the ground.
Okay. Let's... All right, let's run back.
You know, to get the smoke off the wood.
I'm getting my steps in.
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, okay, and there's a pot.
And then you pour something, water on it to smoke it. Yeah, there you go. There's your smoke.
I'm gonna go and bring our pot back. Teamwork.
I just know this from working in Alaska. There's lots of fish smokehouses that you get to go into and see how people do it.
How long did you live in Alaska?
Oh, I just worked up there for about 5 years.
Wow.
But I left my heart in Alaska for sure.
I've never been. I would love to go someday. Oh, is the wood gone?
Oh, weird.
Okay, let's get more wood. That was fast. Okay.
Maybe I'm wrong about putting the wood in there, but the smoke happened.
Yeah. Maybe it's a timing thing. Let's try again. Have to close the door. There we go. Yay.
Yay, the plant's doing it. Cool.
Oh, I like this one.
Nice.
The ash plume is a pyrophile, evolved to survive harsh forest fires. Its seed cracks open with extreme heat, and afterwards, the oak smoke from its habitat indicates it's safe to bloom. Perfect.
Interesting.
Oh, gatehouse delivery. Let's run to the gatehouse, and then I think we can take a break.
That sounds good.
I like that there's music when you complete things, or when you move to like a different section. Go this way. Oh, this is new. This wasn't here before.
Oh, that. I like that you would notice that detail. It's impressive.
Let's try. I think it was this way. Maybe. I hope. Yeah. Here we go. And here's the gatehouse. Dear Lady Green, we are pleased to deliver a new key for your orchard gate. We hope you're enjoying the gate. And don't hesitate to visit us again should you need further metalwork or decoration for the manor. Sincerely, John Babbage. I hope you're enjoying the gate. Well, now I will.
Now that we have a key.
Right?
Yep.
The Ferminator says Unfinished Swan vibes. Is that the game? I have not played it, but I have been curious about it. Glad you're getting a similar vibe. Also, Dawn, did our house remind you of Lara Croft's house from Tomb Raider?
It's been so long since I played it. I can't remember her house at all.
That's okay. Okay, I'm gonna run back to the house and then we can take our break. So we're running. So a cross between Lara Croft and Charles Darwin, which is pretty cool. I'm so impressed that you played Tomb Raider. I didn't realize that you had. Okay, so...
Long time ago.
So we did it. Wow, we finished 2 chapters in the first hour. I think there are, let's see, there's 5 chapters. So we're almost halfway through. That's pretty good.
I like that you're saying we.
we are in this together.
Thanks for the credit, even though you did it all.
We are playing this together. All right, so we are going to take a 5-minute break. And then Dawn and I will come back, and then we can ask her all of our questions about gardening, about her time in Alaska, about filmmaking, about all the things. Favorite food, favorite games. We'll ask you all the questions. So don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. Hi, everyone. We're back from our break. I am here tonight with Dawn Smallman from Oregon Humanities. We just finished playing about an hour's worth of Botany Manor. Dawn, I'd love to get your thoughts on the game.
I thought it was beautiful, and I'm so glad you were steering and at the controls rather than me. But yeah, it's really beautiful. You know, I worked for a while in animation, and so I just have this like deep appreciation when I see something that's like beautifully designed and beautifully lit. And I really like the lighting in it, and I really like the color and the perspective as you move through stuff. I thought was really interesting. The puzzles were pretty cool. But I would not have solved them as well as you did and as quickly.
I like that there were just a lot of real world details. Like, I guess, you know, we learned it was educational without us knowing that it would be in that way. So we all got to learn a little bit about plants that live in fire or that thrive or have to bloom or germinate with the help of fire and smoke. And I think you mentioned earlier, like given that you live in Oregon, and, you know, I think Nevada and Colorado and a lot of Western states get fires like during sort of, you know, anytime through the year really, but we're sort of entering fire season, I feel like, again. So always on our minds, for sure.
Yeah. I attended a really interesting lecture one time by a guy who explained the life cycle of fire in the forest, because we had a big fire here in the Columbia River Gorge, which is a really beloved hiking and recreation spot for folks in Oregon. And it really made me look at a lot of it differently. You know, like those burnt forests are actually really full of life and really critical to stay intact in order for the forest to regenerate. And it's great to kind of like understand things like that. It changes your perspective on things.
Well, this is the perfect time for me to ask you our favorite origin story questions. So I would love to know, you know, what brought you to Oregon and Oregon Humanities? You know, as we sort of mentioned towards the end of our time playing the game, you've spent a little bit of time, at least 5 years in Alaska, and I'd love to just sort of hear about where else you've been. And then, yeah, have you always been interested in the outdoors and gardening and filmmaking? What inspired you to do all of those things?
I've always been interested in plants. One of my strongest memories from childhood was being at summer camp for the first time, like away from my parents, and going into the woods and wandering away from everybody alone and finding a jack-in-the-pulpit, if you know what that looks like, plant. And it literally looks like this kind of like secret hooded kind of plant. And they call it a jack-in-the-pulpit because like if you lift it up, it looks like there's a little person standing inside. And I can remember the magic of that moment to this day. So plants have always been, you know, something that and nature's always been something that I've been really interested in. And then in high school, I had a really formative experience getting a summer job on a movie set. And that it really seemed great to me because I came from a family where, you know, my father was a dentist. And so that's what work was to me. So standing on a movie set, I was like, how can people get paid to do this? this does not look like work. I want to do this instead, you know? So I got interested in film really young. And then I think it was just a natural kind of collision when I ended up being a documentary filmmaker that primarily worked on nature and culture. It just made sense. It was like two things combining, you know?
Did you go to school for those things?
I did. I went to Columbia College in Chicago for grad school, for film school. My undergraduate was at Indiana University in literature. And then, so I was always interested in storytelling, you know, too. And then I went to film school in Chicago. And then I got a job doing an animated TV series, a stop motion animated TV series. I got a job offer, and that's what brought me to Portland, Oregon. And yeah, fell in love with the Pacific Northwest. And I think I would have a very hard time ever leaving. I really love it here.
It is so funny about how you spent time in Chicago and Indiana. I feel like we must have crossed paths at some point because I was as an undergraduate, I was at U Chicago, and as a graduate student, I was at Indiana University. So it's too funny.
Yeah, I've heard that on your past streams, and then you and I haven't even crossed Nevada, but I wore it tonight. I got this from the Fox Mine outside of Fallon, Nevada. So one of my favorite experiences in filmmaking, or two of my favorite experiences in filmmaking, were Nevada ones. So I worked for a while and made films for the National Cowgirl Museum and Hall of Fame in Texas, and I just fell in love with one of the museum's honorees, and she had spent predominantly her entire life in Nevada. And she was this amazing cowgirl poet named Georgie Sicking. And so she was profiled in the films that we made for the museum, but I was so fascinated by her that my husband and I, after I wrapped up that job, we just established a friendship with her, and we went and made the biography film of her life. So it was really great. We spent I don't know, it's probably a course of 4 months, if you laid all the days end to end, with her in a car driving everywhere in Nevada and filming, because she had just like moved cattle and lived in all these places. And she's passed on now, but she was really revered. She was like the best known, you know, she would call herself a woman cowboy poet. And so I've been at the, you know, Elko, to the National Cowboy Poetry Gathering. I've filmed there. I've shown our film there, and just love that culture of people and Nevada. And then I also had a really beautiful, like 5-year project right outside of Las Vegas at a place called the Clark County Wetlands Park, where I made the films for the Visitor Museum there. And also we made films for broadcasts and things like that. So I spent a lot of time in Nevada, and I really love Nevada so much. So that's part of what I love about your show, is people talk Nevada quite often with you, and I love it.
I think there have been a couple of people who have mentioned the Clark County Wetlands Park as one of their favorite places when I ask you, like, what are your favorite places or things to do, which I will ask you later on about Oregon. Yeah. I've done a few events at the Clark County Wetlands Park too. But I'm going to take a closer look at the films in the visitor center next time I'm there. I'm usually in like one of the classrooms, so that's why I haven't spent as much time in a visitor center. But when I do, I'll think of you.
I'd love to come back there sometime and see it. I haven't seen it in a number of years. So we were like filming there while they were making the park itself. Oh, wow. Yeah. And they were doing a lot of the restoration of that land. And so there were really neat kind of experiences. We made, like I said, a broadcast film. And one of the really cool things was because the project was over so many years, we filmed them like bringing the, exploded casino parts, the riprap, the concrete riprap, and making the film, beds, then doing these giant planting events where the public would come in and plant all these native plants. And then we'd go back like a year later and we'd film like the ducks in the water, like, using the plants and living in the plants and things like that. And you could not tell. And then the film, we would cut the scene of the ducks on the riprap with the historic archival photos of the Stardust Casino. And they knew, the engineers, when we made the film, the engineers, you could see like that nature place, that all came from the Stardust. That came from, this other casino. And they could like show you exactly and walk up to it and tell you exactly where it came from. So it was this like really interesting like collision of nature and the Vegas Strip too, and Las Vegas history in lots of ways. So yeah, it was a really interesting job.
I love that. That's so cool. So yeah. I guess I'll follow up. So then you moved to Oregon, and how did you hear about Oregon Humanities, and how did you end up joining?
After I worked in stop motion animation, which was like control everything kind of
Right.
art form down to precision and small things, then I, kind of went the documentary realm to have the opposite experience, right? Not that you don't control anything, but like way more of like being in the moment, capturing things with a camera, real live and things. And so I did film production for a number of years, making films for public lands, visitor centers, and museums. Then I went into a producing an environmental film festival in Portland, Oregon. And I did that for about 8 years. And then I met a really wonderful person named Roselle Medina, who used to come to the festival, and then he would start volunteering and help with the festival. And we just got to be friends. And he worked at this place called Oregon Humanities, and he used to tell me all the interesting things he was doing there. And then when I was doing the festival, I was also working at this place called the Hollywood Theater here, which is like a beloved art house, historic art house, movie house. And I also ran a fiscal sponsorship program for filmmakers and other festivals that could get our 501c3 nonprofit tax status umbrella, and then get donations and acquire money for their own festivals or for their own films they were making. And so I kind of ran that program also while I was doing the film festival. And then COVID hit, and I was like, nobody's coming to the movies anymore. I'm going to look for other kind of work. I had done the festival for 8 years, and it was really successful, and I was really ready and looking for some new challenges and things like that. And Roselle sent me Oregon Humanities grants. At the time, it was a grants coordinator job, and was like, hey, look at this cool job where I work. You might be interested in it. And I thought, wow, this is really interesting opportunity to try something new and to further kind of some of the work that I've done. And with this great organization that everybody here knows, Oregon Humanities, it's a very social in terms of the kind of events that we do are very community oriented. They're very community engagement. And so folks really know this organization and love this organization here in the state. And so I was like, oh, maybe I can go connect with them, and it worked. So that's how I ended up at Oregon Humanities.
I love that. Have you spent much time with your other neighbors? Like, have you been up to Washington or visited up there?
The Washington Humanities, or
Yeah,
just
either one,
going
the
up to the
state,
state?
yeah, as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been in the state a lot. I've been up in Washington a lot for sure. I like heading north. I'm not a person who heads to warm places to vacation. I like heading north to cold places. So I've definitely been up there a lot. And I don't know the folks at Nevada, at Washington Humanities more than some of them are my LinkedIn friends and things like that. But I go to their online events a lot. They do really interesting work. Yeah.
So I mentioned that I had been in Portland once for a friend's wedding, and I ended up flying into Seattle for it and renting a car and driving like the 4.5 hours down to Portland. And then I had to drive back after the wedding because the original flight into Portland was canceled. So I have just this memory of forcing my boyfriend to drive at 2 a.m, all the way up and back. So I'm a little bit familiar with that drive, but I love both states, and yeah, Pacific Northwest is really fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Midwest, and I grew up in places where you could stand and put your finger on the horizon and do a complete, 360, and your finger would stick on the horizon the whole way. And when I first came out here, I actually never been out here when I accepted a job out here. I was living in Chicago, and someone offered me a job, and I went out and bought an Oregon tourist guidebook. And I just remember opening it up and seeing painted rock desert, and then flipping the pages and seeing moss dripping forest. And then I turned it, I saw the coast, and I was just like, okay, sold, I'll take that job. And so I landed out here having never been here, and it's been a pretty magical thing ever since. It's as close as you can get. Someone told me this once, and I think it's true. It's as close as you can get to living in New Zealand, but living in the United States is to live in Oregon and Washington. So
I love that. Let me know if you see any hobbits. That's great. So I'm wondering if you could tell us about some of know, some of the filmmaking projects that you've worked on. So you've mentioned a couple. I know nothing. I know like honestly like nothing at all about filmmaking. So other than I guess sometimes you see like behind the scenes stuff on YouTube. I don't know about like the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, I've done different aspects of filmmaking for sure. Like it started out in a lot of animation and music video. And I'll date myself, but that was sort of like right at the time that MTV hit and people had really big budgets for music videos. And so I was in like my early 20s then, just out of film school, or even, some of the time I was still in film school. And a lot of my friends were like punk rock musicians and they made music videos. And so we all just started like making lots of music videos. And so I always had a really strong kind of animation and music kind of running through media connection in the first part of my career. And then, I switched once I did stop motion. It kind of was like, this is the end of the road for me in this kind of production, because I just couldn't handle the level of minutia. It's sort of like working with tweezers kind of.
Yeah, how long does
it
it take? Like it must be, I don't know, just I can't even
imagine. It depends on the frame rate that you're shooting. So, like if you're shooting like one move of a puppet and then one frame and then one move of a puppet and one frame, to get a really smooth look, then it would be easy. Like you're working all day typically on crews like that. And then in the morning you're watching what you shot the day before. And sometimes the totality of what, a number of animators will shoot, if you stack those shots end to end in the morning when we have our coffee and we look at what they call the dailies would be like less than 7 minutes long, right? Like sometime we would have an animator and they would animate a puppet like tumbling down a staircase. And since that's a really complicated move, whereas just like a simple puppet walk cycle is, people know how to knock those out fast. But if it's a puppet that's like twirling and falling down a staircase, that could take a week for someone to animate, right? And if there's one mistake in it, you're starting over. So it's a really interesting thing to watch really talented stop motion animators work, and all the technicians that make all that stuff. Like it was very fascinating work. But ultimately, my job, I was, in charge of like making the production go. So it was making sure all the parts were moving in conjunction with each other at the same time, and making sure that like whatever somebody was going to need tomorrow for a set was already, in the pipeline months early, getting prepared, was going to be ready on time. So it was a lot of coordinating of minutia. And we used to just have a giant scheduling room that was painted with magnetic paint from floor to ceiling. And then we had all the shots that were backed with a magnetic background, and we would a crew of us would stand and schedule and just swap shots. It was like a giant matrix room that you were in for scheduling the stuff, and every shot would have 20 to 50, sometimes more assets that you had to have in place and ready so that shot could be shot. So it was a really interesting kind of like make you crazy or make you love it experience. And it made me a little crazy. So I started out and said, I'm making documentaries. I want to be outside. I want to be by nature. I want to be talking to people. Stop motion animation, you're working, in a studio with no windows in the dark all year long. So I just did a flip of my work life and went the nature culture documentary route. And that was really great. I mean, I really loved like working down in Vegas on the jobs and making the films that I did there. And so many other great productions I worked on, but definitely my favorite time was up in the Tongass National Forest, which is Southeast Alaska. And we did just wild things, I remember my husband sending me up there on a trip, and it happened to be during my birthday, and I was going up there to get in a helicopter. We were going to film whales from a helicopter riding up the Inside Passage. And my husband said, I'm just screwed. I'm never going to top this for your birthday.
That's great.
So it was really fun, but it was really hard work. We'd be carrying like tens of thousands, literally, of pounds on, from this from a commercial plane to a private plane to putting it into a boat, crossing rivers to another charter, them dropping you off in the middle of nowhere, putting up bear fences, sleeping inside bear fences, and then going out and filming bears. It was super fun work, but it's definitely a young person's game. And I love that I did it, but when I was done with it, I was really ready to like be at home and like invest in community and do something that I could imagine myself doing as I got older, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's crazy about the bear fences. Were there any like scares, like with the bears while you were there? Yes.
There were many. Well, I think just being not so much with black bears, but being around a grizzly bear, or they call them brown bears, there is a really interesting experience because it's one of the few times in my life I haven't really been around moose or up close to whales. I've seen them from distance, but I've never been close enough. But it's something to be able to gauge your size and your scale up close to a very big wild animal, and a very big wild animal that's sort of they're oddly kind of robotic. Like you can tell they're tracking by nose, and they're kind of a little bit hard to reach through the eyes if you're looking at them. And I found them to be fascinating and beautiful and a little unknowable. And so when you get up next to them, it's a little bit, it can make you nervous because you don't exactly know what they're going to do, and they're just impressive animals up close.
I love that. I don't think I've ever been up close to a bear in that way. I think we've seen, I think the closest is, driving through Yellowstone, and when we've seen, various wildlife, but not, I don't want to be one of those tourists that gets in the news because you got too close to like a buffalo, for instance.
Totally. Yeah. We had a really interesting moment where my life kind of wound back on itself, where I actually, after we got done filming bears and we wrapped up that film, my husband had edited the films for the visitor center that I made up there for the Tongass National Forest. And so I said to him, I want to take you back to some of the places we filmed. And we went to the big bear viewing site where you can really get up close and you can see all these black bears and grizzly bears kind of taking turns coming out and like fishing as salmon kind of vault up the river. And he and I were waiting for a guide to kind of walk us safely down, from the Forest Service, to walk us safely down this plank to get back to the bear viewing site, because my husband and I were staying in the one and only cabin there. And we had a big, very large grizzly bear encounter. And as the guide saw that we were kind of not in a great spot with this bear, and we were kind of trying to ditch our stuff into a bear safe. So anything that might smell would be in this bear safe and we could get away from it. They were coming in on a boat and they were yelling instructions to us. And then they yelled to the bear and they said, that's just Georgie. Georgie, get out of there. And Georgie is the name of the cowgirl poet that basically we had made all these films about, and spent years. And I was like, and it was a female bear. It's like, what's the chance that the bear that's meeting us in the woods is named Georgie, and she's a female? So we had lots of really interesting bear encounters, all of them good, all of them safe, but still there's moments where you realize you're in the presence of greatness when you're by a big bear.
I love that story because I'm thinking, right, as you said, sort of like all these connections from all the other things that you had done had just lined up in place. What are some of the cool things that Oregon Humanities is doing? I'd love to hear more about. I know you do. I've always been a fan of your website, which I think is fantastic. I'm going to put that in a chat for people so I can pull it up.
Our communications team will love hearing that.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic website. I'm going to put it in the chat.
It's great.
Yeah, I love that you have a magazine, and I always get the emails where you're like looking for new stories or different things to feature.
The magazine's like, so many people know us from our magazine. It's super beloved across the state. It's a free magazine for folks who haven't seen it. You can just sign up to get it for free on our email list, and it features Oregon writers, and a lot of it is first person stuff, untold or often not heard or often not elevated in the public discourse kind of perspectives on things. And so it's really interesting. And when I was asking folks in a meeting that I had, I was like, what writing should we, I was telling them that I was coming on the show. I was like, what writing should we send them to? And I'm gonna drop this link in the chat. There's this really interesting piece of writing about blackberries that appeared recently in Oregon Humanities magazine. So if you'll share that with people, since we probably have some people who are plant fans tonight here with us. But the magazine's just great. It has wide circulation, and it's, quite often the writers are being compensated for it. So it's kind of like a great gateway for newer writers, although lots of seasoned writers appear in the magazine as well. But it's definitely one of the things that we're most known for. And we've got some interesting other things going on. Currently, we're about to start. We have a long-term program called Dear Stranger that my colleague Lucy Solares-Steger runs, and it's a anonymous letter writing exchange that we facilitate. And so every year you get a prompt, and we have people write, a question prompt or a thought prompt. And every year we have people write about that prompt, and then the letters come to us, and, we make them anonymous and we exchange them back with people, but we trade so people get each other's letters. And we're actually getting ready to do a Dear Stranger round coming up soon through libraries, where we're making these drop boxes and these letter writing stations, and some museums are involved too. And with the upcoming anniversary of the Declaration of Independence, we're asking people to a prompt that's specific to that, about what kind of country they want to see the country be in the future. And so that should yield some really interesting letters. That's another program that we're really well known for. And then probably our highest profile program is this program that our executive director does called Consider This. And it's a both live streamed and a live in-person event at a theater in Portland, Oregon. And he has different folks that he interviews. Again, there's usually an annual theme. The theme that's coming up for next year is the people and the public. The themes that we're finishing out are like fear and belonging. And so then he just extrapolates and finds all these interesting writers or thinkers or people who've done these interesting things in their community that have something to do with the theme. And we stream that onto our YouTube channel if folks want to know anything about that. I will actually put an upcoming show with a woman writer who writes a lot about the Supreme Court. And I'll put that in the chat for you to share with folks too. That's going to be on September 18th.
I'm curious. And
then we have,
how many letters do you get?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not the facilitator for the program, so I'm not sure. But I'll put the Dear Stranger link in the chat. That's the anonymous letter writing program. It's one of our oldest programs. And sometimes I know I've heard Lucy, who facilitates the program, say that sometimes she's surprised where the letters come from. I think we got a bunch of school children from France who somehow heard about it and participated a year ago. Sometimes we get incarcerated folks who will want to exchange letters with people. Quite often, there will be like groups of people who will like do group letter writing efforts. But it's just like such a lovely thing in a digital day and age that we live in, to actually get an envelope in the mail that's got the content that's handwritten. Lots of times you'll see people will draw artwork and stuff like that and incorporate it with the letter. So it's just a really human kind of program that people love.
I definitely think letter writing, physical letter writing, and snail mail is a lost art. I don't know, I need to get back into it. Some of my best memories from when I was in third grade, my teacher did like a pen pal program. I just remember how much I loved writing to my pen pal, and I haven't thought about that in a long time, but I just remembered like it was just a joy, right, to get something that someone else had written to. And I also had a friend in college who, for a few years, we also wrote occasional snail mail, which was different because right now there's sort of that instant access where you can message anyone, anytime on Facebook, on Discord, you can text them. And I forgot how tired your hand gets when you write a lot. So I should message him digitally to see if he would be up for exchanging physical letters again.
You should. You should do a Dear Stranger round,
Yeah, we have.
It's open to anybody from anywhere.
I love that. Yeah, maybe I should. It's not similar, but we do. My coworker Bobby Ann, she runs it's called PS I Love You. It's a Nevada PS I Love You postcard project where she provides kits for schools, other community centers, libraries. We often do it at like our book festivals where anyone can like draw or write on a card what they love about Nevada, and then she sends them on to other people just as a way to spread joy and happiness. And sometimes our world is very negative, and it's good to have some positive things in it.
I think the humanities are so important for people right now for that exact reason, right? And I think connecting with other people is like a cornerstone of good mental health, and isolation, we obviously are learning more and more, is like detrimental to culture, like to culture being healthy. And so, yeah, that's a cool project. I'd like to see some of the results. Do you have any photos of those on your website?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up I'll put it in our chat. And
I know Bobby Ann a little bit from the grant officer meetings. One of the cool things about working at a state humanities council that I love the most is that we have this federation that connects all of our different states councils, and there's a bunch of different like kind of networking that happens through that federation. And the grant officers meetings are some of the funnest meetings. And
really?
Bobby Ann's always, yeah, she's always like making me laugh in those meetings. She's great.
That's fantastic. So I just put that link in Zoom, but as well as in our Twitch chat. But if anyone wanted to, you can Google the Nevada Humanities. Oh wait, that's the exhibition series. Oh my gosh, that's the wrong link. I put the right link. I just think that's also Bobby Ann's program series. So she does the exhibition series as well as the postcard project, amongst others. It's very hard to type and talk at the same time. Okay, so let me do Nevada PS I Love You. Here it is. This is the postcard project, and I'll put it in your chat here too. So I'm curious, what are some interesting grants? Like, what are some of your favorite grants that you've awarded?
Oh boy. Well, I'll say I didn't award this. By the time I started, it had already been awarded, but we had an opportunity to nominate a past grantee for this prize that's called the Schwartz Prize, which is within the humanities world, kind of a award given for exemplary humanities work. And so when I was thinking about all of our awardees, I thought of this group of folks called the Caretakers of the Land, who had been working with a local archdiocese together. The church owned the land that had been owned by, obviously, indigenous people that were there before the church had landed there. And this group, Caretakers of the Earth, were all indigenous people, tribal people of that land. And so they had been working in collaboration with the archdiocese there to kind of like do kind of a land project together, a land restoration. And also it had a component where the tribal community was going to practice and in some aspects relearn certain aspects of harvesting camas from camas fields, restoring it to grow it in these fields where it once grew and making it flourish again, and then learning how to harvest it or practicing what they already knew about harvesting it, building an earthen oven in a traditional way, cooking it in an earthen oven. And then they brought the camas out and shared it with different tribal folks in the local region for different ceremonies, shared it with elders who hadn't had those first foods in a number of years. And it was just this really beautiful collaboration by these two entities. So we nominated that. That's one of my favorites. And then I also, we've had this grantee a couple times in a row over the past years. Anima Mundi. They're in Ashland, Oregon, and they did this really beautiful program where they brought four African American musicians who had been lifelong educators and lifelong musicians, but had retired, and they had all, when they had been young, been activists in the civil rights era and had written a jazz piece of music about being young activists in the civil rights era. And so they brought them back together now that they were retirees and said, we want you to not only play this music again, but we want you to talk with people and place it in a historic context, the humanities part. And we want, to do different programming for different ages and different people in our community here and around Ashland, Oregon, to talk about what this piece of civil rights quartet's music means in a post-immediate George Floyd murder era. And so we funded that. And I just thought it was a beautiful thing. And reading the grant reports is always a wonderful experience and part of the job. And the joy of being able to bring them back together again, and they all played again for the first time in many years, I think it just spilled over into the community, and they just heard fantastic things about the work. So that, I'd say those are the two that come to mind, but it's hard to pick two.
Right.
There's so many great things. Yeah.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I always like seeing, because I don't do grants, that's, it's Bobby Ann, but I like seeing at the end when we have the list of everyone who was awarded a major project grant. And it's just, it's so cool seeing the variety of things that people do across the state. And then it's always fun on social media when you see, oh, there's our logo. We helped to support this. And I didn't realize it, but there we are.
Yeah, it's really a lovely thing to be the conduit for funding because the communities, they know what their community wants, needs, how to reach them and all that. And so just to be the conduit for funding that helps enable them to do what they want in their communities. I mean, we have people right now doing, with our grants, doing back to the Lego thing that you mentioned earlier, we have people doing American history reading series of books about American history with kids and building Lego sets of Statue of Liberty and locomotives when they're reading about the history of the railroad being laid down. Just really, so much creativity comes out of these places, these libraries, these community groups, these arts, straddling arts and humanities kind of groups. And it's just really inspirational to see so many genius people across the state doing really creative stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so for friends in our chat, don't be shy if you have any questions for Dawn. Feel free to put them in there. Dawn, I wanted to ask you before we get to sort of the two questions that I like to ask all of our first-time guests. I wanted to ask, do you have a favorite gardening story or tip, maybe both, that you could share? Any gardening successes or even fails, any memorable gardening moments? So I'm springing this on you.
Oh my gosh. Well, I would say the most memorable gardening moment I've had was I sat on a city committee. The city was trying to sell off an important piece of parkland, public parkland. And so a neighborhood association that I was on the board of stopped that in large part and rallied the community. And the ultimate win was not only did we stop the sale, we got the city to pay for building a giant community garden on the spot. And then I got to have one of the plots, which I don't have anymore, but in the community garden. And it was such a lovely thing to ride my bike to the community garden. And it's also in the view of a extinct dormant volcanic cone. The garden sits right on the base of it. And you could just be out there and see bald eagles in the trees and garden my plot of land and meet my neighbors and their plots. I got many friends out of that. And then just knowing that this almost turned into probably a parking lot, but we actually saved it and we turned it into a community garden was probably my best gardening positive gardening thought. And I have so many gardening fails. They're not that interesting to talk about. I'll just say so I've been gardening out in the coastal range of the past couple of years, and it's crazy. The crazy garden fail is you plant trees, and I've never dealt with moles and voles before that come in underneath. And so you'll plant a fig tree and you'll nurture it for 2 years and it'll be doing great. And then you'll come out one morning and the tree is just like 5 feet lower because it's sunk down into the hole that the moles and the voles they chew the bottom of it. So it's just almost like it just drops in the hole and it's dead.
Oh, yeah. I would not have considered that. So, and I love the rhyming of moles and voles. So
I'm not sure which is the culprit. I always get them mixed up. I think it's the moles.
Okay.
But yeah. So those are, I have so many epic gardening fails. I wish I had all the money for all the plants that I've bought and killed back in my life. I'd be much richer.
I think the biggest thing I struggle with is growing plants that require higher humidity than I have in my house. And then they get dry and they get very sad and then they die or get close to dead.
Houseplants are hard. That's like pro level. I don't mess with houseplants really. It's so much easier to grow plants outside for sure. Yeah.
Well, that'll be me next year.
Houseplants, you never get a break from it. You have to like deal with all the changing conditions year round. Whereas like if you're growing outside, you just have to manage like a 2-season window, you know?
Well, I'm just going to put my houseplants outside, make them deal with it. So we'll solve that problem.
You could probably most of the year there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so one of the questions I like to ask all of our first-time guests, and you've talked about this a little bit, and it's also you're very familiar because this is where you work, but what do the humanities mean to you, Dawn? I'd love to hear your take on it.
I think this is the most interesting question, and I talk about this with my colleagues a lot. And everybody has a little bit of a different take on it. But for me, it's people, culture, cultural heritage, communities, how we see ourselves when we look at history, how we see ourselves now, who our aspirations are about who we want to be in the future, and how we consider and see that. To me, it's the human experience and the way it comes out in the food we eat, the books we write, the songs we sing, the films we make, the animation we make, the seeds we plant. I mean, one of my favorite things to plant is a seed that, I don't know if this is true, but I read about it for the first time in the New York Times, and I was like, I need to get that seed, get my hand on that seed. It's called King's High Scent, and it's a sweet pea, which is a very fragrant, trellising pea with a beautiful small flower. That you can smell from like 50 yards away. It's really fragrant and the flower is about that big. And supposedly is the seed that was taken from King Tut's tomb when they first opened it. Huh. And like so I see humanities in that seed, right? I mean, the fact that someone would bury the king and put a stash of a seed that isn't it's not a food seed. It's for the smell and the beauty and the culture. It becomes a cultural thing once you know that it came from King Tut's tomb. And I used to, grow it in the community garden. And people would be like, what is that beautiful smell? And they'd already be in awe. And then you'd tell them the story and the history about it, which is humanities to me and the culture. And then they'd always be like, will you save me some seed?
I know. I want some now, too.
I'll send you some.
I love that. Well, it's a fabulous story. And yeah, it really just shows kind of, right, the importance of all this interconnectedness with, with storytelling, with place, with culture, with people, taking the time to care about, enough that they would put a seed, on his tomb or with him. And then that we would cultivate it years and years, millennia after. Actually, I don't know. Is it millennia? Centuries?
It's amazing that anything like that exists, but it's the same thing with the stories we tell, right? I mean, I recently, for the first time, and I don't know how, I came across this. Maybe it was something in Washington Humanities that I was looking at, but somebody referenced the oldest known song, and I was like, what is that? How do I not know that? And so I immediately started Googling and found all these renditions of it and heard it for the first time. And it's like, to me, that's what the humanities is. It's all these bits of culture and the thread that helps us understand. When I hear that, I think of the music I listen to now and how close it is to it, but also how distant and different it is from it. And that's the arts for sure, but that's the humanities too. And that's, I think, the difficulty sometimes is the separation between the arts and humanities, because to me, personally, I think they're basically inseparable.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you too. I think I've listened to that song. I think you can like find recordings of people trying to recreate it on YouTube. So definitely for people who are interested, check it, like, yeah, Google it or look it up on YouTube. And I think I'm gonna give it a listen after our stream.
Yeah, there's lots of renditions on YouTube. That's where I found a bunch of it. And it's interesting because people are doing it at like modernist versions or jazz versions and all that. So it's a very well-known thing, but I don't know how it didn't cross my brain until like in the last 3 months, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Top 3 places or things to do in Oregon.
This is like,
it's hard.
I remember, yeah, saying about Nevada or anywhere else would be hard. But I'm just going to say 3 that were formative in the way I think about my life and my time living in Oregon. And that would be the Portland Japanese Garden, which is amazing. It's by the Rose Garden in Washington Park. And it's, I think it's thought of as the most significant, like, I don't know what the right word is. Accurate isn't really the right word, but traditional accurate kind of like display and the way the garden lays out and the techniques of the pruning and all that kind of stuff and the plants that are there. I think it's considered to be the most impressive Japanese traditional garden outside of Japan. And it's really something. It's on top of a mountain. It's got, you imagine it's got koi ponds and amazing kind of like places that you can boardwalk through. It's got the gravel gardens that they rake into the beautiful white rocks in different shapes. And then they have bonsai displays that are permanent and year round. So you can go and see like giant sequoia trees, which have been like pruned for like through the hands of like maybe 3 or 4 owners during the course of their lifetime. And the sequoia is actually a miniature sequoia and it's hundreds of years old, but it's only like this tall. It's an amazing place. Definitely. It was the first place I went to the first weekend I had free when I moved here. And it blew me away and never ceases to make me in awe. So I'll say that. I'll say Lost Lake on Mount Hood, which is this amazing lake that has had very little development. It's about, I would say, right up near the snow line, even in the summer. And so it's a lake that has the forest right up to the water. There's no motorboats allowed, so it's really quiet even when there's a lot of people. And you can just take rent a kayak or a paddle boat or bring your own, or just bring a inner tube, and you can just go out in the middle of this lake and not worry about getting run over by skiers or whatever. And you've got the Mount Hood, the snowy peak of a volcano up like in front of your view. And it's a great place to see the Milky Way at night. Really, really good. Beautiful place to camp. So Lost Lake on Mount Hood. And then I'll say the Hollywood Theater in Portland, Oregon, which I talked about it earlier, is where I worked for many years and ran a film festival and did other fun things there. It's a spectacular, beautiful old 1928 movie theater. And there's a really interesting culture of total film geeks that are there 7 nights a week. And it's sort of like, if you're there a lot seeing movies, which a lot of the people are, half the fun is just hanging out in the lobby before the movie, after the movie, talking about films, chatting with people you know. It is the movie social hub, I believe, of the Pacific Northwest.
Those are all fantastic answers. I also put the links in a chat in case anyone's interested. Silver, when I put the Japanese garden, Silver said, "Wow, that sounds gorgeous."
Yeah, come visit. I'll give you a personal tour.
Yeah, I absolutely love botanic gardens. I love the one that I grew up with in Chicago. And then when my parents were in St. Louis for a bit, we'd often go to the St. Louis Botanic Garden, which was also really nice. I wish there were more in Las Vegas. There aren't, but we do have, right, we have the Springs Preserve, there's the Clark County Wetlands Park. Um, I just love seeing, depending on what region of this United States that you're in, any sort of like, arboretum or botanical garden. Tucson has is it, gosh, I just totally forgot the name of it. Is it the Desert Museum in Tucson? Which is not, it's
I
not
don't know
really a
that.
museum. It's really more of like a beautiful, like botanical garden, zoo, and natural history museum all in one place. So if you're ever in Southwest, on definitely check it out. If you're able to make it for the raptor flights, like if you're interested in like like large birds, you can see them at different times of day, and then also walk around
Oh,
after.
that sounds great. I am really interested in raptors, so
Yeah,
very cool.
yeah. So check out the Desert Museum. I'm gonna shout out the Desert Museum in Arizona for that. Okay,
That's
so
great. I love the desert landscapes, as much as I love the forest. I just there's something about the sound of rain when you're laying down at night and trying to go to sleep that just really works in my brain.
yes. So some comments in chat. Perminator says there are some nice ones in the Seattle area too. Do you mean Botanic Gardens? I see you nodding.
Yeah.
Dawn, you were just in Seattle recently too, right? I think we were there the same weekend, but I wasn't able to meet up
Yeah.
with you.
I just sprinted. A friend of mine had a museum opening, and besides attending her opening, I just sprinted through museums and gardens. I went to a Japanese garden. I went to the conservatory, the botanical conservatory. I went to the Asian art museum. I just sprinted for 4 days through as many gardens and museums as I could get through. It was great.
That sounds
How
like
was your trip?
it was really good. I got to eat a lot of really good food. And it was my first time, like, I'd been to Olympia before. I have several friends, like older friends who live in Olympia, and I'd been to that area. But I hadn't spent much time in like the city proper. So it was really cool getting to see like an Amazon, like the spheres, like the Amazon office. That was really cool. Not really a botanical garden, but kind of in the sense that they have a lot of plants and fish tanks. And then we took a ferry, like the water taxi. And that was, I'd never been on one like that, so that was also a really fun experience. Really cold. I probably should have prepared for the cold, but that was great. But yeah, really just the food and friends. That's what sticks in my mind. Also, the random statue of I think Lenin, right by like
I
a
haven't.
yeah, there's like a square where there's like a huge statue of him, and then like a communist dumpling place, which we went to.
I'm going to look for that next time I'm there for sure.
Yeah,
Where did you take the water taxi to? Did you go to the islands?
where did we go to? Ferminator, if you're in chat, tell us. Tell us where. Wait, because I don't remember anymore. I know that one of our friends wanted to go to. I think he wanted to go to Victoria. Do you want to go to Canada? But I didn't have my passport, so we couldn't go there because I think you need your passport to take that route. So we went somewhere else that I don't remember where we got.
I've never been to Victoria, but there's an amazing garden up there. If you Google it, you'll see it.
Okay.
It's almost like the video game. I've never been to it, but someday I'll get there. Yeah.
Okay, so we went to West Seattle by Alki Beach, if you know where that is.
Yeah, I do actually do.
Oh, wow.
That's a beautiful viewpoint. Yeah. Nice.
Okay, so I have a couple last questions for you before we say goodbye for tonight. Again, time just really flew, and I had so much fun playing the game with you and also chatting with you this past hour. But Dawn, this might be a new question that I ask of people because I've discovered that I like asking people this question. But if you could make, now that you've played Botany Manor and now that I've known that you've played Lara Croft Tomb Raider before, if you could make a game, what do you think it would be about? Like, what kind of game would you like it to be? And this is interesting because I know that you come to it from not just your work as, from Oregon Humanities, but as someone who's worked with animation and directing. You probably have a lot of ideas about what it could look like and feel like.
Well, I'm sure these games exist, but I would like to travel space, right? Like I would like to heavily travel space. I'd like to go through a black hole.
Okay.
I'd like to see what's on the other side. Like I'm really interested in all kinds of like nature stuff. And it was interesting running an environmental film festival. I would show films about, caves and cave art, prehistoric cave art, and people be like, "That's not an environment. Why is that an environmental film festival?" I was like, "Of course it is." And then we did lots of stuff about dark skies and nighttime skies, and I find space super fascinating. I also find the minutia of medical stuff really, like the inside of the body at a molecular level and space and the places between the two of it. So maybe that's what I would make, is a video game where you could travel from the molecular level of the inside of a body through a black hole to see what's on the other side. How's that?
I love that. I feel like this game must exist. I'm sure it does. Or if it doesn't, you will make it. I'm just reminded of Miss Frizzle, actually. I bet I know there's like Magic School Bus games, because I do remember playing a Magic School Bus game about the body when I was growing up, when I was in like elementary school. I don't know if they made one about space. There are a lot of space games, but I don't know about body to space. That's fantastic.
Yeah, well, I remember this movie that scared me as a kid, which was a much older movie than me, where they put people like in someone's bloodstream, and they were like on a boat or a raft. I have this like very weird memory of it as a kid, like going through the inside of the body and stuff like that. So I'm sure it's been done a lot, but on the fly, that's the best answer I have for you.
Okay, well, I mean, I remember Osmosis Jones, which I'm pretty sure is not that scary movie that you were talking about. Do you remember Osmosis Jones? And then there's
No,
also,
I don't know that.
yeah, it was an animated film. I think Chris Rock was was either like the protagonist or one of the main characters. And then more recently, oh, my camera's pretty blurry. Have you heard of Inside Out?
Yeah. I've only seen the first one. I haven't seen the recent one, but yeah, I like it a lot.
My camera is blurry, so I'm just gonna see if I can pop it real quick. Oops. I took a picture by accident. Well, I'm blurry now, and that's okay. Well,
The camera's telling us to wrap it up.
I think so too. Yeah, I'm okay with it being blurry towards the end. Well, Dawn, is there anything else you would like to share or let us know about? I think you've talked about, or like any, I guess, fun upcoming projects would be a good one.
I'll just say, if you're on the Oregon Humanities email list, we've got tons of really interesting things coming up all the time. But this, I'm going to put actually in a shameless moment of promoting one of our community storytelling fellows projects. This just came out, and you can just check out her. This is sort of like a Give Butter. It's like a GoFundMe. But so we have a community storytelling fellow this year named Sarah Fox, and she's doing this really cool thing where she's taking the Columbia Gorge River watershed, which is a really dramatic, beautiful. It's sort of like the Grand Canyon of Oregon, between Oregon and Washington, and has the Columbia River runs down it and divides it. And she's doing a rock opera for her fellowship with us that's written by people with her, musicians, also orchardists, a wolverine biologist expert, and people like that, and these people are writing about their lives and then helping compose the lyrics with the musicians and her, and the music about what their experiences in the watershed, and how the rock opera is going to paint a picture of the community connections between everybody. So she's currently got this Give Butter up, and you'll see that like she's got her drummer inside one of the big orchard cubes that they pick apples and pears with out in the Columbia River Gorge, and she's playing it with drumsticks and getting all these different sounds out of squatting inside the apple crate. So I'm really looking forward to the creativity of it. We're gonna do 2 events with her at the end of the year. We're gonna have one of our Consider This interviews done with her and a couple other people about the process making the rock opera. And then the rock opera will happen in conjunction with the Mount Adams Institute in Washington, who she often works with. And I can't wait to be sitting in the audience and seeing what she's going to create, because just hearing her working on it with these people is like, this is a really interesting humanities project. So I'm excited about that one.
That is super cool. Well, okay, Dawn, I'm so sad that our time has come to an end, but only for the stream, because I'm sure, when I'm ever in Oregon again, or if you're ever in Seattle when I'm in Seattle, we should we should meet up. It would be great to see you.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I have admired your show and its creativity since you started it. And when you originally invited me, I was like a little too nervous to say yes, but I'm glad you kept at me. It's just a genius way to look at humanities through a playful sense and get people engaged who maybe, think the humanities are like too academic or they don't exactly understand. So I just appreciate that you're adding it to the humanities dialogue. And thanks for the invite.
Of course. Well, thanks for being here. And yeah, it's always a pleasure to meet other people and learn about all the cool things that they're doing across the nation. And, just to be able to highlight it, I think that's the least I could do. So yeah, I appreciate you being here. Don't be a stranger. We always like seeing you in our chat. So for everyone today, thanks again for hanging out with me and Dawn tonight. It was a lot of fun. I hoped you liked Botany Manor if you're around for the first part. And if not, you can watch our video on demand, our VOD later, either here on Twitch or on YouTube when we put it up. So don't forget, you can learn more about our programs on our website at nevadahumanities.org. You can always see our upcoming in-person and online events. We have a lot of upcoming events coming up. I'm actually going to a Dark Sky Fest next week. Dawn, as you were mentioning, that I'm flying to Reno and then renting a car and then driving 4 hours north to the California-Nevada border to interview an author and talk about dark skies. So super excited for that. That's next week.
For this show?
Not for this show, but for the Center for the Book and the National Book Festival. I would love to get her on, but she's almost 80, so I don't know if she'll be on, but I can report back after. So I will definitely do that. And yeah, again, always appreciate seeing everyone, and we hope to see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your evenings, and stay cool, stay inside if you're experiencing bad air or smog, and can't wait to see you soon.
Kathleen.
Bye, everyone.